73% of organizations still detect breaches only after the attacker has already been inside their network for days, sometimes weeks. But what if your security infrastructure didn't wait for the breach to happen? What if it anticipated the attack, contained it, and neutralized it, all before your team finished their morning coffee? That's not science fiction. Autonomous agentic AI is making it real right now. Here's the brutal reality facing every executive in this room. The traditional cybersecurity kill chain. The linear sequence of reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and exfiltration was designed for a human speed threat landscape. It assumes human defenders will see the attack coming, analyze it, decide what to do, and respond. But attackers aren't operating at human speed anymore. According to a 2026 Gartner Threat Intelligence report, the median time between initial compromise and lateral movement has shrunk to just 47 minutes. Your incident response team can't move that fast, your CISO can't move that fast, your entire organization can't move at the speed of modern threats. And here's what keeps executives awake at night. The more sophisticated your infrastructure becomes, the more attack surface you create. Gartner's 2026 Cybersecurity survey shows that 89% of organizations now manage hybrid or multi-cloud environments. Every cloud instance, every API, every containerized workload is another door an attacker can try. Your traditional security tools, firewalls, endpoint protection, CM systems, they're reactive. They're designed to detect after something goes wrong. In a world where 47 minutes is already too slow, reactive is obsolete. This is where agentic AI fundamentally rewrites the game. We're not talking about machine learning that flags suspicious patterns. We're talking about autonomous agents that operate continuously, make independent decisions under uncertainty, learn from every interaction, and take protective action without waiting for human approval. This framework exists at the intersection of three converging forces: the maturation of large language models, the emergence of multi-agent systems, and the desperate need for security velocity. In the next 8 minutes, you're going to understand how agentic AI deconstructs the kill chain at three critical moments. First, we'll examine how autonomous agents are collapsing the reconnaissance phase, the attacker's intelligence gathering window. Second, we'll show you how they're weaponizing threat intelligence in real time, transforming vulnerability data into active defense. And third, we'll show you the operational and governance framework you need to actually deploy this in your organization without losing control or creating new legal exposure. By the end, you'll see exactly why the organizations moving fastest on agentic AI security aren't trying to hire more analysts. They're building systems that don't require them. First point: autonomous reconnaissance collapse. Traditional attacks follow a predictable pattern. The attacker scouts your network, tests your defenses, maps your systems, and only then commits to the attack. That reconnaissance phase is typically invisible. It's the attacker's lowest risk moment. They're probing, not attacking. Your security team often doesn't even know they're there. Here's the evidence. A 2025 CISA report on advanced persistent threats found that 81% of initially compromised systems showed signs of reconnaissance activity at least 2 weeks before actual exploitation began. 2 weeks of visible footprints that most organizations missed in real time. Why? Because detecting reconnaissance requires a different kind of attention. You need to spot patterns of unusual activity across systems that may look individually innocent. You need correlation at scale. This is where agentic AI agents operating continuously across your network environment become genuinely transformative. Take the case of a multinational technology firm headquartered in Singapore that deployed autonomous security agents across their 47 internal networks in 2025. These agents don't run on a schedule. They operate continuously. They monitor for behavioral patterns that are subtle. Unusual DNS queries. Access patterns that deviate from learned normal behavior. External reconnaissance signatures. When the agents detected coordinated scanning activity across their networks, they didn't file a report. They autonomously isolated the affected network segment, prevented the attacker from moving laterally, and escalated to the human team with full context about what had happened and why the decision was made. Here's the application. You need to ask your security leadership right now whether your monitoring is reactive or predictive. Are you looking for known attack signatures? Or are you using autonomous agents trained on your specific network patterns to spot deviation before it becomes dangerous? If the answer is the first one, you're operating at 1990s threat velocity in a 2026 threat environment. Second, real-time threat intelligence weaponization. For decades, threat intelligence meant threat intelligence analysts, humans, reading reports from security firms, studying adversary tactics, and slowly updating your defenses. That process takes weeks, sometimes months. Meanwhile, the threat landscape shifts daily. New vulnerabilities are disclosed constantly. The exploit kits evolve faster than your patching process. Autonomous agentic systems are collapsing this time to defense window. According to a 2026 McKinsey report on AI-driven security operations, organizations deploying autonomous threat intelligence agents reduced their mean time to remediation from an average of 43 days to 4.7 days. That's not a 10% improvement. That's an order of magnitude difference. Here's how it works in practice. Consider what happened with a major financial services company in Hong Kong in early 2026. A zero-day vulnerability was disclosed in a critical authentication library used across their infrastructure. In the old model, this would trigger a vulnerability management workflow. The vulnerability gets added to a ticket system. A human analyst assesses impact. Teams get notified. Patches are tested. And weeks later, systems are patched. During those weeks, the organization is exposed. Instead, this firm deployed an agentic threat intelligence system that automatically ingested the vulnerability disclosure, analyzed their specific systems to understand which assets were vulnerable, cross-referenced it with threat intelligence feeds to understand whether active exploitation was happening in the wild, and if risk threshold was exceeded. The agent autonomously patched non-critical systems and flagged critical systems for immediate human intervention. The entire cycle took 47 minutes. The key application here is this. You need to inventory your critical libraries and dependencies today and ask whether you have automated assessment of vulnerability impact. If you're still waiting for vulnerability tickets to move through approval chains, you're waiting for a breach to happen. Third, the end-to-end kill chain acceleration. This is the most important one because it's where the traditional framework completely breaks down. In the old kill chain, each phase was somewhat independent. Reconnaissance was separate from exploitation. But agentic AI systems operate across the entire chain simultaneously. They're not just defending one phase. They're accelerating threat response across all phases at once. according to recent research from Deloitte's 2026 Cyber Risk Report. Organizations using autonomous agent-based security stacks saw a 67% reduction in dwell time. The number of days an attacker remains undetected in your systems. For context, the global average dwell time is still 210 days. Think about that. The average organization gives an attacker 6 months inside their network. Organizations deploying agentic defense are cutting that to under 3 months. But here's the critical context for any leader managing infrastructure across Southeast Asia and the broader Asia-Pacific region. According to IDC's 2026 Cybersecurity Spending Report, organizations in the APJ region are investing in autonomous security agents at a significantly higher rate than their European and North American counterparts. Singapore, in particular, has become a hub for agentic security deployment, with over 61% of enterprises in the financial services sector now operating some form of autonomous threat response capability. This matters because it means your competitive set isn't waiting. Your peers in the region are already moving faster. The practical application is structural. Your organization needs to define autonomous response boundaries right now. Before you deploy the agents, what decisions can the agent make without human approval? If a credential is compromised, can it autonomously reset that credential? If a system is showing exploitation patterns, can it autonomously isolate that system? If a data exfiltration attempt is detected, can it autonomously block that traffic? These decisions need to be made by your legal team, your CISO, your CRO, and your leadership, not discovered during an incident. The organizations executing this well have created explicit decision trees and approval authorities. For their agentic systems, they've worked with their legal teams to ensure autonomous response doesn't violate regulatory requirements or customer agreements. They've stress-tested the decision logic, and only then have they deployed at scale. Now let's talk about what becomes possible when this works. Imagine your security posture. Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J for more powerful insights. See you in the next one.